Alright folks, and welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and this is my predictions show, so thanks very much for watching. This is round 20 in the AFL. First up, Friday night, 2nd of August 2019. We've got 14th place North Melbourne versus 11th place Hawks at the Marvel Stadium. North's lost the last 3 games and the 2 before that they won. The Hawks, their form is 3 wins and 5. Lost 3 wins and then a loss. I'm not going to beat about the bush on these predictions. I'm just going to go and hammer them straight through. I've been told on my predictions that I've been a little bit of a pussy, but I didn't actually realise that I had done this. I've backed the favourites, but it's just the way I see the games panning out. That's what I've went with. It's not intentional to pick the bang on odds on favourite. It's just the way it's worked out this week. Sometimes the team who I think will win are nowhere near likely to win in terms of the bookies, but I have a feeling and a educated sort of stab at it and give it a go. But obviously I've not been that brave this week that I've been called up. But anyway, it's all good fun. So Hawks win Friday night game. Saturday the 3rd of August 2019. We have first up 7th place Essendon versus 10th place Power, again at the Marvel Stadium. Essendon's won 5 straight in a row, all comeback victories, not massive comebacks, but they're comebacks nonetheless. So they're showing a little bit of steel and determination and bounce back ability, if you like, to go out and when the chips are down and go and get the victory. So on the contrast of that, Power's lost 3-1 and they've lost 4 out of 5. They're not in fantastic form, really, are they? I don't see this game really going any other way than an Essendon win, but it could be quite tight depending on what way the Power turn up. But I'm going for an Essendon win. Anyway, next, 5th place Giants versus 15th place Swans at the Giants Stadium. Giants have won the last 2 and lost the previous 3 before that. Swans have lost 4 in a row and then they won the game before that, so 4 losses out of 5. I'm going for a Giants win. Swans haven't been really that great, have they? They're really struggling of late. The Giants have got a couple of wins now. I think they're possibly back to winning ways and I can't see anything changing at the weekend. I'm going for a Giants win. Okay, so next up, 12th place Dockers versus 1st place Geelong Cats at the Optus Stadium. We are out in Perth. I don't think this is going to have much bearing on the outcome. The Dockers have lost one, lost, so they've actually lost 4 out of 5, and the Cats form's very much like what Port Adelaide's was over the last week. Well, 1 lost, 1 lost, 1, 3 wins out of 5, but very much inconsistent. Lost going back and forward, up and down like a yo-yo. But I'm going for a Cats win. 2 back-to-back wins for the Cats. The Dockers are struggling. I can't see them turning this one around. Really have been poor. Not great to watch either, which isn't something you could really have said about them leading up till, can I say, June time. They were quite good to watch at one point, but really they're not now. Something's just dipped there. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of pressure on the coach there, and you know what? It's warranted as far as I'm concerned, because they've got a lot of good players, but they're just not producing the goods. Cats win. 17th place Melbourne then versus Richmond at the MCG. Melbourne have 3 losses, a win and a loss, and Richmond 5 straight wins and absolutely playing sensational footy. I see another win for Richmond, sorry. Can't see this one really being a problem. I think it'll be quite a convincing win. Don't think it'll be a landslide victory by any stretch, but definitely a convincing win. They'll probably have the job done by the 3rd quarter, I'd imagine, and just add to the scoring in the 4th. The Tigers are probably right now playing the best footy in the whole AFL. They really are just cranking it up a gear every week. Who knows? I believe they're potential favourites now to go on and win the whole thing. But we'll see how the coming weeks go in terms of, is it 3 or 4 weeks left to go before the knockouts? If they can win them straight, then they're very much in the driving seat. Momentum's on their side. Confidence, quality players coming back, games at the MCG. I'm saying this, I'm being repetitive about these facts, but as long as they're getting win after win after win, how can you not be repetitive? And as I say, I think they're playing the best controlled, nice, free-flowing footy, a handballing game. They don't let anybody rush them. They dictate the pace of every game and they play to their strength, and they've got the quality to crush you. So Richmond win. This was the game that I kind of struggled with, and it's got to do with the form for the team that should be favourites to win. It's the Adelaide Crows versus St Kilda. Look, check this out though. The Crows have lost 4 out of 5, lost the last 2 weeks, won, and then lost the 2 weeks before that. St Kilda are off the back of 2 wins, of course. They've got the temporary coach there in charge, and he's managed to get 2 sort of honeymoon period victories with 2 wins in the last couple of weeks. A win in the last couple of weeks, 1 win, and then 3 losses in a row. So the Crows are sitting at 8th, and they're just holding on at 8th by the skin of their teeth. And St Kilda are in 13th, and this is at the Adelaide Oval. But another win could potentially, for St Kilda, could potentially put them in a pretty good position, to tell you the truth. Although, I think this week could be a little bit too much for St Kilda. I think the Crows will bounce back with a victory here. I think Eddie Betts has been brought back into the squad. I think he will have a positive impact in the game, and you'll see him on the scoreboard. You can't keep a good thing down. Eddie Betts will have an impact in this game, in my opinion, and I think it'll be a Crows win. So that's the last of the Saturday games anyway. On to Sunday then. A pretty straightforward victory, I would imagine here. This is 6th place Collingwood versus Gold Coast Suns in 18th. Collingwood, this is unbelievable stats as well. Lost, 1 loss, 4 losses out of 5. Incredible. And of course, Gold Coast Suns are going to potentially be breaking, I think it's probably their own record of straight defeats. I think it's 13 or 14. But they've lost the previous 5 anyway. We're going by the last 5 games. They've lost 5. It's going to be a Collingwood victory. We're not going to go into too much details. Collingwood are missing a lot of players. If the Gold Coast are going to get anything out of this, it's going to be down to this fact that Collingwood are so thin in their playing squad. And the Gold Coast did actually do pretty well. They got 96 against Essendon last week. Essendon left it to the last couple of minutes to go and secure the victory. 106-96 off memory. So they had a little bit about them last week. I think one of the players got 4 goals. So hopefully there, for the Gold Coast's sake, there's a little bit of a feel-good in defeat in the way they did get beat. The manner in which they got beat, but they went down fighting, which was quite good for them. It's not something I've been able to say about them in any weeks leading up to this game, but there's a positive, and the fact that coupled with the fact that Collingwood aren't playing well and are missing a lot of bodies, that it could be the Gold Coast's only chance they could ever get of getting a scalp from the top 8. But I can't see it. I'm still going to Collingwood win, even with the numbers being so thin. Okay, so on to Carlton versus West Coast Eagles. Carlton are in 16th. They actually are in form, and West Coast Eagles in 2nd. This is at the Marvel Stadium, so of course West Coast Eagles are travelling to Victoria for this one, and at Melbourne. Carlton, 4 wins in 5. Incredible for Carlton stats. What a turnaround from David Teague. That man, what a difference he's making to Carlton. Playing exciting footy. A lot of players are stepping up now to him. I just think he's got them ticking. Of course, they're well out of it in terms of getting into any knockout footy. It's not going to happen this year for them, but it's something to build on now. And I just want to see, for the Carlton fans' sake and the young Carlton team and David T, because he seems like a real good guy and he's got a good footy brain by the looks of it. I just want to see them build a little bit of momentum and close this season out with a little bit of pride, and they can hold their head up and then build on it for next year and maybe do something next year. Who knows? 3 wins, a loss and a win. That was their form. West Coast Eagles have got 4 out of 5. Theirs is 2 wins, a loss and 2 wins. Everything I said about Carlton, I don't know if it's going to matter. I think the West Coast Eagles are just brimming with confidence. There's so many players that can hurt you in the Eagles. They've got such depth to their squad, loads of positions. I mean, look at Flying Ryan, Willie Rioli. I mean, he sold that much candy last week. They renamed him Willy Wonka. Willie Rioli is now Willy Wonka. I mean, sold candy here. He sold candy to the left. He sold it to the right. He was just selling candy everywhere. Like, the stall was empty by the time he was finished. But absolutely tremendous footy playing by those two guys. Of course, they've got Darlin, they've got Kennedy. They've got so many players throughout their squad that can just hurt you. They're just awash with talent, and I think that's going to be too much for Carlton at the Marvel. I'm going for an Eagles victory, and it'll keep them in second spot this week regardless. Okay, on to the last game then. This was quite a tough one, and this is credit to the Bulldogs. You cannot rule them out of getting something here. Lions, of course, have won 6 in a row. Their last 5 games, 5 wins. But the Bulldogs have got 4 wins and 5. A win, a loss, which they probably should have done better against St Kilda on that loss. But anyway, credits to St Kilda for that victory. A win, loss, and 3 wins. Bulldogs are definitely there. Do not take them for granted. Loads of players now starting to tick. Players that maybe hadn't really been performing the weeks prior to that. I think if the Bulldogs don't get into the top 8, it's down to the way they started the season, getting defeats off the Gold Coast Suns, and I think that they lose one to Carlton maybe, off my own memory here. Maybe if I'm wrong, but apologies if I am. But it's these things here that are the difference between them either getting there or not. And you just see the players that are stepping up now. They've got a bit of fight about them. They're hungry. They really want to win. I'd like to see the Bulldogs win it because I quite enjoy watching them, to tell you the truth. They've got good entertainment value, even in defeat. The games that they play in and that they're involved in are enjoyable. But all that being said, I think the Lions are going to win it again. The young Lions side, everything's just clicking into place. I don't think, obviously the Lions have got better form than Richmond, and Geelong are obviously sitting at number 1. And the West Coast Eagles are playing really, really good. But I think Richmond are the team right now that are the best in the ladder. But Lions are certainly not going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's a Lions win for me anyway. It is at the Gabba as well, so it's again, that's another thing that favours the Lions. So just running through the weekend's fixtures. Winners, slowly. Predictions, winners: Hawks, Essendon, Giants, Cats, Richmond, Crows, Collingwood, West Coast Eagles, and the Lions. Apologies if you think that my predictions are that of a complete pussy, but it's just the way I see the games going this week. I'm predicting a winner. I'm not doing it for any betting purposes, although my friend Dylan is putting a bet on for my predictions, and kindly, if the winnings do come in, he does donate them to the channel. So thanks very much for that. He does that every single week for us, and it will never be taken for granted. So thanks very much again. It's greatly appreciated. That's the end of the predictions anyway, guys. How do you see the results going? Is there any of those results you disagree with, or you think there's I'm right? Let me know in the comment section below. That'll be great. It's always good to get feedback and engage with AFL fans. Thanks very much anyway for your continued support and always tuning into my videos. It's really greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe and put the notifications bell on as well, and check out our social media platforms in the description section below, and also ways you can help fund and support the channel, such as Patreon and our GoFundMe, which is coupled with sponsoring the mullet, and all sponsorships towards the mullet are going into helping us raise money to book our flights to come and do an AFL vlogging trip and get round some footy grounds, me and the family. That's the dream anyway. Thanks very much, guys. I am the Donfather. I can't wait for this weekend's footy. It's never let me down yet. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.